Students, today after 2 days gap, so we are discussing the lecture 5 in the unit 1. So in the last class we have discussed the various functions of management, how to start work in any organization, what are the various functions to be done in any organization based upon the size of organization, maybe the small, medium or large. So finally what we have to do, we have to organize, we have to manage the managerial actions in a factory, or it may be a school, or it may be a college. Now in this class we discuss the concepts like evolution of the management, how the management has been started from 18th century, what are the theories said by some of the scientists and economists. We discuss those topics in this class. Now, so here the following figures, as already discussed, what happens in the management process. Just a fast bit we can say here. In the management process, there are some functions to be covered. In order to have the functions in a processed way, we require some inputs laid by any organization. What are the inputs to be discussed here? We are having the men, the crew, the people, the workers, the managers. These are the people comes under the category of men. Next, money, capital, budget. So what is the liquid capital we have to invest in the company? What is the solid capital we have to invest in the company? What are the standby capital we have to keep safe for the further processing in the company? What are the materials? Coming to the materials, we are having raw materials, semi-finished materials, unfinished materials, and in-process materials. So we have to discuss these materials. Next, machines. Coming to the starting machine, conventional machines, to the super robotic machines, we can discuss the all types of machines in the machine concept. Methods, what type of methods you are following? Theoretical methods, practical methods, experimental methods, we can discuss in this input process. Market, what type of market you are picturizing in the organization? It may be the word of mouth market, or it may be a publicizing market, or it may be a virtual market, or it may be a real type of market. So these are the inputs for any organization for successful running of any firm. So if these are the inputs, then what is the simple output? Final output is efficiency, good productivity, good income, good outputs, good money. So these are the outcomes for this any management process. So for successful running of management process, some of the functions like POSD, CORB, that is planning, organizing, controlling, motivating, staffing, reporting, budgeting. These are the main functions of any management for successful running. Next, if you see the structure or elements, all these are integrating towards the goals of an firm to fulfill the objectives of any organization. For example, if you are, we are all in a organization called a college. So when the college goes in a successful way, whenever the employees, whenever the students, whenever the integration, whenever all the departments like the education department, the stores department, the canteen department, the security department, the administrative department, the transport department, if all goes in an effective way towards the goals of any company or a college, automatically we have reached the goals of organization. Then we can say the management process in that organization or a college is going in a proper way. Next, evaluation of management thought. So how the evaluation has been started, management అనే కాన్సెప్ట్ ఎలా స్టార్ట్ అయ్యింది? సో ఇన్ ద 18th century, in the 18th, in the midst of 18th century, 19th, 20th, 21st century, we are coming across various types of management processes set by various scientists, economists, and philosophers. So a management is also a simple concept of science, how to manage the things effectively in order to reach the goal. So it describes how the need to increase organization efficiency and effectively. So the evaluation says that how there is a need to increase organizational efficiency and effectiveness has guided the evolution of management theory. So it leads to the guiding towards the evolution of the management theory. So what are the approaches here? We are having various type of approaches based upon the categorization. So this management concept has been started in the 18th centuries, 19th centuries, keep on improving century by century, depends upon the changes in the industrial development. So we are in the fifth industrial development. We are in the fifth industrial development. So the machines like conventional machines, semi-automatic machines, automatic machines, robotic machines, right, intelligent machines, these are all the changes in the industrial development. Thereby the management is also automatically changed with the concept of industrial revolution. See the table, see the chart here, how the management has been evolved. First one, if you see, the first one is a classical theory. Classical theory is based upon these three streams. So these theories are set by some philosophers and scientists based upon their experience and based upon the visit in the factories. First one is a bureaucracy theory by Weber in the 1900s, in the early 1900s and late 18th century. Bureaucracy theory by Weber. What he said? He said he laid some rules and principles which should be fixed, which should be dedicated, which should be in a line organization. Second one, scientific management led by Taylor, F.W. Taylor. In the 1910, a scientist named Taylor, F.W. Frederick W. Taylor, has given some scientific management theory, four scientific management theories to discuss about the management. Next, third one, process management theory. Process management theory. What happens in the process management theory? It is simply nothing but the administrative theory set by Henry Fayol in 1910. Next, neoclassical theory. Neoclassical theory. It describes about human relations theory set by Mayo and Ruthensperger in 1930. Next, behavioral science theory set by Maslow and McGregor in 1940. Next, the third category is a modern management theory. What happens in the modern management theory? In this modern management theory, we are having the operations research, computer technology and information technology, empowerment, total quality management, re-engineering process, just in time. Like this, we are having different concepts, philosophies set by the engineers. Now, if you see the graph of the evolution of the management theory, starting from 18th century to the 21st century, we are having number of changes in the management theory. The first one, if you see the scientific management theory, the scientific management theory is said by some of the scientists we can discuss in this class. Second one, the administrative management theory, administration. You see administration management theory. We are also having some philosophers and scientists gave some suggestions for this administrative management theory. The third one is a behavioral management theory, how the people are behaving in the factory, behavioral management theory. The fourth one is management science theory. And the fifth one is a organizational environmental theory, where all the refined things happen starting from scientific management to the organization theory has been evolved. Now we'll see all these five things step by step. First one, what is the meaning of job specialization? Job specialization. The job specialization means it is a process by which the division of labor occurs as different workers specialize in a specific task over time. Means here, job specialization, how we can categorize means based upon the division of labor. So first, if we know the experience of the people, we can place those people based upon the jobs categories. So what is the specialization means? So if a worker is trained for one work, then we can say the person is having a skill in one category. Thereby the job is meant for those people which are specialized in those jobs or works. That is a job specialization. The workers who are specialized become much more skilled at their specific task. Increasing the job specialization increases the efficiency and leads to the higher organization performance. So general theory says that increasing the specialization, job specialization, increases the efficiency and leads to the higher organizational performance, which leads to the goals and aims of the organizational performance. It is saying like that. Okay, the first one we'll see the scientific management said by some philosophers. The first point of thing we are having Frederick W. Taylor is a scientific philosopher. He says that what is the meaning of the scientific management? It is a systematic study of relation between the people and task. The systematic study of relationships between the people, those who are working in the company, between the people and the task. Task means the work given to the people for the purpose of redesigning the work process to increase efficiency. Means a study of relationship between the people and task for the purpose of redesigning. For example, if you are assigning for one work, the same work is given for 10 people to do the work. So the same 10 people will do the same work within different times and different procedures. So finally what we have to do, we have to reorganize, redesign, and we have to see for the optimization of among the 10 works, which one is a skillful, which one is a optimized work. And in that fashion we have to go for redesigning the work process. Why we have to redesign the work process? In order to increase the efficiency and productivity in the organization. So that is a systematic study for scientific management said by W. Taylor. He gave four principles for this process. So what are the four principles here? The first principle: study the way workers perform their task. Gather all the informational job knowledge their workers possesses and experiment with ways of improving how tasks are performed. If you take a simple example, take take 10 workers, or take a 10 fried rice people, those who are in your village or in your street. So take all those people and study their work, what they are doing for preparation of the gobi manchuria, what they are preparing for the fried rice. So study the way of working, their performance, their task, gather all the informational about the job that workers processes and experiment with the ways of improving. So collect all the 10 people's work, what are the activities they are doing and what is the time they are using, and take study all the 310 concepts, take any two or three and finalize one concept which gives utmost improvement in their task. How they are performing, what are the process they are required. We required time study and motion study. For example, take 10 people and ask them to do the same work. So whenever they are doing the same work, what are the study you have to follow? We have to follow the time study. Means we have to keep the stopwatch in front of all the 10 people and ask them to do the work. What is the next motion study? What type of activities they are doing with respect to the time. So whenever the process is given, whenever the work is given for the people to do, what are the activities they are doing in completing the task with respect to the time we have to study. For that reason, we require time and motion study. Okay. Next, second point. Second principle is codify the new methods of performing the task into written rules and standard operating procedures. See the figure here. In the figure, the person is carrying some cotton boxes with the forklift and is placing from one is moving from one place to the other place. So whenever the person is doing in this process, the operator or the other person will take some codings based upon this work, how fast he is doing, how securely he is doing, how effectively he is doing. So like this, the second principle is whenever you are starting a new thing or a new method, codify. Codify means make some statements or make some procedure or formulas and codify it. Means make some codings to perform the task into written rules and standard operating procedures. Means these are the standard operating rules and procedures to follow the activity. So like this we have to make some coding irrespective to the methods. Next, third principle: carefully select workers who have good skills and abilities which match the need of the task and train them to perform the task according to the established rules and procedures. Okay, if we take an example, so now Andhra Pradesh Skill Development is giving some skills, some project skills for the students at the end of the fourth year. So whenever the student is coming out of the college, the student should have some skills apart from the educational background. When they are going for an interview, if the interviewer asks some skills, which will match their skills, then automatically he will train them and perform the task according to the established rules and procedures which they are having in a company. So unless the employee or the student doesn't have possesses any skills and abilities which matching to the employers, which matches to the employers rules and rules and procedures, then automatically the student or employee doesn't get any job because he is having less or poor skills what the company is asking. So that carefully we have to select the workers which will match their environment, which will match the job environment, and give them separate coaching or separate task according to the established rules and procedures. That is a third principle. What is the fourth principle? Establish a fair or acceptable level of performance. Establish a fair or acceptable level of performance for a task, and then develop a pay system that provides a reward for performance above the acceptable level. So whenever you are selecting a level of performance of a task, whenever you are selecting a proper job, then automatically in order to motivate the employee or a student, or in order to appraise them, in order to give us some reward, what you have to develop, we have to develop a pay system. So in the starting management in the early 19th century or 18th century, the concept is in this way: ask the people for the work, call the people for work. But after getting a call from the management, the people come there and work for some time. After leaving the management, or after leaving the day, automatically the employer has to give some pay system, means they have to set up some pay scales or some rewards or incentives based upon the job what they are doing. So like this, the FW Taylor has given some four fundamental principles set by the Taylor. But but he has ignored some concepts in the Taylor's plan. He has ignored some concepts. Managers frequently implemented only the increased outside of the Taylor's plan. So some plans he didn't mention. What are those plans? Workers did not share in the increased output. Workers did not share in the increased output. So the second one is specialized jobs became very boring and dull. So whenever a person is good at one thing and is doing the job for several years, ఒక కంపెనీలో ఒక సూపర్వైజర్ having 10 years or 15 years of experience, so he is very good at his expertise. But based upon the technology change or based upon the revolution in the management, automatically he has to learn some new things, adapt some new things, or else what happen? The job will become bore, or it will become backfire. Second, workers end up distrusting the scientific management method. So whenever the technology transfer is not there, whenever the changes not taking place in the scientific management, what happens? Trusting with the employer will become poor. There is no trust. There is no trust with the employee versus employer. Then automatically workers end up with the distrusting the scientific management method. What is the third point? Workers could purposefully underperform. So intentionally, whenever the changes taken place in the management, when men is replaced with the machines, automatically underperformance ratings can be given for the workers. Means blindly the worker should not improve, should not go only in one way. He has to see other ways of developing personally and also employers benefit. Management responded with increased use of machines and conveyor belts, obviously. So whenever the technology transfer takes place, what happens? Automatically men is replaced with the machines. When men is replaced with the machines, management responded with the increased machinery. Automatically the people will get problem with their jobs. These are the things what FW Taylor has been ignored while laying his principles. Not now, it is in the 19th century. Next, the second person is a Gilbert's theory. Now what the Gilbert's is saying based upon this first scientific management, the Gilbert's is saying break up and analyze every individual action necessary to perform a particular task into each of its component actions. Means ఒక పెద్ద వర్క్, you are having a big work, don't ask the people to do the big work at a time or start at once or do as usual. Like first break the big work into small individual task and give this individual task to individual people in order to perform the task with good component actions. Means division of work అనేది జరగాలి. Break the work into small pieces and ask the people to perform the task in order to increase the efficiency. Second one, find better ways to perform each component action. So whenever the task is given, small task is given for a small group and ask them to complete it, they have to complete in a more innovative and a more enhancement way. Means finding better ways to complete the task with uniqueness, with unique procedures. Means optimization, with optimization procedures. That is a second point in the Gilbert's theory. Third point, reorganize each of the component actions so that the action as a whole could be performed more efficiently at less cost in time and effort. So second point lo, whatever the task you are doing for completion of the process with better ways, reorganize. So ఇప్పుడు taking a big work and cutting into 20 pieces, after selecting the 20 pieces with the matching with the people, అంటే 20 జాబ్స్కి 20 మంది వర్కర్స్ని పెట్టిన తర్వాత ఆఫ్టర్ గెటింగ్ ఆప్టిమైజ్డ్ రిజల్ట్స్ రీఆర్గనైజ్డ్ దెమ్ ఇన్ ఎ వెల్ వే అండ్ changing their positions according to the priority, so that what happens, by doing this in any organization, we can reduce the time, we can increase the effort, finally the productivity is increased. So like this, the Gilbert has given some points in the scientific management. Second one, administrative management, administrative management theory. The second theory in this evolution is administrative management theory. See the figure, what you can see in the figure. So here the employees are doing their work with freeness, with good ambience, with good freedom. Why they are getting this sort of things? Because the management is motivating in all the ways in order to increase the efficiency of the workers, increase the efficiency of the time. Here the good administration leads to good outputs. What happens to administrative management, we'll see now. The study of how to create an organization structure that leads to high efficiency and effectiveness. So whenever the employees are doing the work with full force, with happy, with enthusiastic, with active, proactive in nature, automatically the organization structure is going in a positive way. The graph is going in a good way. So this gives administrative management theory. Means we have to lay structure in a good fashion. Under this management theory, there are some scientists and philosophers who said about how the administration should be there in any organization based upon the application. Now we'll see the Max Weber's administrative management theory. Max Weber's management theory. He developed the principles of bureaucracy. He developed the principles of bureaucracy as a formal system of organization and administration designed to ensure efficiency and effectiveness. మ్యాక్స్ వెబర్ అనే సైంటిస్ట్ ఏం చేశాడంటే హీ మేడ్ ద ఆర్గనైజేషన్ ప్రిన్సిపల్స్ షుడ్ బి ఇన్ ఏ బ్యూరోక్రసీ మోడల్ అంటే ఆర్థోడాక్స్ ప్రిన్సిపల్స్ అంటే rigid whatever the rigid principles or procedures laid down by the management set to the lower level, they have to follow accordingly. They should not they should not question others while doing the work. Means the rules should be in a rigid manner which should focus through the motivational objectives. Now what the Weber is saying, so he laid some 4 to 5 principles based upon the bureaucracy theory. So a bureaucracy should have, what are the things that the bureaucracy organization should have? Means clarify clearly specified system of task, and the role relationships. So whenever you are laying the organization structure or organization layout, it should be clearly mentioned the System of task and role relationships clearly specifies the system of task and role relationships. So we have to specify the what is the task you are doing and what is the role you are having. So if you are a manager, what is the role of the manager, what are the tasks to be done? If you are a foreman, what is the role of a foreman and what are the tasks you have to do? If you are a laborer, what is the role of a laborer and what is the task you have to do? Like this, it should be mentioned clearly without any obligations. Next, clearly specified hierarchy of authority. For example, if you see the hierarchy, a simple example, if you see any department in a college, civil department. So what is in the civil department, who is a head of the department? Under the head of the department, you are having mini HOD or some other person, professor. Under professor, you are having associate professor. Under associate professor, you are having assistant professor, 1, 2, like that. Under it, so like this, you are having a hierarchy of authority. So that if it is clearly mentioned, the assistant professor can be easily understand or understood by seeing the chart, whom to approach, when to approach, and how to approach. So like this, a model should be there in any organization. What is the third point? System. System of written rules. System of written rules and standard operating procedures that specify how employees should behave. There should be a system with the proper guidelines and procedures, that specify how the employee should behave. So automatically should behave how how the employee should behave based upon the written statement said by the company. So like this any employer should keep some layouts or charts how the procedure should be laid down, how the people should behave in the factory. What is the fourth one? Selection and evaluation system that rewards employees fairly and equitably. So what it says, so whenever you have to, whenever the employer has to reward any people, whenever the employer has to increase the incentives, or whenever the employer has to make some evaluation process, they have to select according to the procedures what they have laid in the organization chart. Based on this organization chart, they have to select the employees without any politics and fairly in a transparent means, right? So a manager's formal authority derives from the position he holds in the organization. What is the second point? People should occupy positions based on the because of their performance, but not for their social standing and personal contacts. So what it describes here, it describes people should occupy the positions. People should take the positions or responsibilities based on their merit rating and job rating, but not based upon the social understanding or references or any personal contacts or personal influence. What is the third one? The extent of each position's formal authority and task responsibilities and its relationship to the position should be clearly specified. Whatever the task, whatever the responsibilities, whatever the rules and regulations, it should be clearly specified so that there should not have any ambiguity between the employer and the employer. Fourth one, authority can be exercised effectively when positions are arranged hierarchically. అంటే ఒక సిస్టంలో వెన్ ద పొజిషన్స్ ఆర్ ప్లేస్డ్ ఫ్రమ్ హయ్యర్ ఆర్డర్ టు మిడిల్ ఆర్డర్ టు లోయర్ ఆర్డర్, ఆటోమేటికల్లీ ద అథారిటీ అనేది ఉంటుంది. లేదంటే ఒక డిపార్ట్మెంట్లో 4 హెచ్ఓడీస్ని పెట్టేసి, లేదంటే ఒక డిపార్ట్మెంట్ హెచ్ఓడీసే లేకుండా ఆల్ పీపుల్ ఆర్ ఫీలింగ్ దట్ దే ఆర్ హెచ్ఓడీ, దెన్ వాట్ హ్యాపెన్స్? ఆటోమేటికల్లీ ద వర్క్ విల్ గో ఇన్ వెయిన్. Next, fifth one, the managers must create a well defined system of rules. The manager should create a well defined system of rules, standing operating procedures and norms so that they effectively control the behavior. Automatically, when the managers are playing a vital role in any organization without any disturbances or without any influence, automatically they will follow their procedures and rules without disturbing the other things, and they will effectively control the behavior of the people, behavior of the services. So like this the scientist Weber has gave some structure based upon the bureaucracy. Second scientist, what is the second scientist here? Henry Fayol. Henry Fayol has also mentioned 14 principles of management. Henry Fayol discussed 14 principles of management for his philosophy. What is the first philosophy? Division of labor. In any organization, division of labor should be done. For example, if you are doing any task, if you are doing any activity or a function in any college day, first what you will do, you first divide the students according to the task. Like this, the division of labor should be done based upon the specialization of jobs. Then only the work will become quality. Or else ఎవరు పడితే వాళ్ళు ఎవరు పడితే ఆ వర్క్కి అసైన్ చేశారు అనుకోండి, వాట్ హ్యాపెన్స్, the work will spoil, and also the workers mentality also will spoil. Means division of labor should be done based upon the specialization, thereby leading to the high quality with work satisfaction. So if you are having no specialization, leads to poor quality and workers dissatisfaction. What is the second point? Authority and responsibility. Both formal and informal authority, and a friendly authority and strict authority should be laid down in any organization in order to fulfill the goals of the organization. Means a manager should have authority on his co-workers. A manager should have authority, and HOD should have authority on his subordinates and responsibility. So if the person is doing good thing, he is responsible. If the person is doing a bad thing, he is responsible. So like this, both both formal things and informal things should be controlled by the HODs or the managers in any organization. Thereby what happens? Friendly relationship maintains between the subordinate, friendly relationship maintains within the under subordinates. Third point, unity of command. Unity of command. What is the unity of command here? Employees should have only one boss. So bossism definitely should be there. But ఒక వర్క్కి 10 బాసులు, లేదంటే ఒక 3 గ్రూప్స్కి ముగ్గురు బాసులు, ఒక ప్రాజెక్ట్కి ఇద్దరు ఇన్ఛార్జెస్. ఇఫ్ ఇట్ ఈస్ దేర్ లైక్ దట్, వాట్ హ్యాపెన్స్? ఆటోమేటికలీ ద వర్క్ విల్ గెట్ స్పాయిల్డ్. సో ద కమాండ్, యూనిటీ ఆఫ్ కమాండ్ షుడ్ బి సింగిల్. ఒక పర్సనే కమాండింగ్ చెయ్యాలి. సో లైక్ దిస్ ద ప్రాసెస్ ఈస్ లెడ్ బై ద హెన్రీ ఫేయోల్. నెక్స్ట్, వాట్ ఇస్ ద ఫోర్త్ వన్? లైన్ ఆఫ్ అథారిటీ. A clear chain of command from the top to bottom of the firm. So line of authority means whenever the instructions are coming from the top management. For example, if you want to, there is a holiday for second Saturday or some other holidays are coming in the college, then where should the instructions should come? From the lower management, or from the middle, or from the top? So obviously the the chain of command is from the top management, the chairman or the principal who is responsible. He has to give in some instructions to the next level, next level, next level. Finally the students has to get the information when the holidays are coming based upon the line of authority. So if it is clearly mentioned, automatically the organization will go to the good levels. Fifth one, centralization. So all departments should come under a one roof. Means the degree to which the authority rests at the top of the organization. So whatever the works coming happening in the lower level, lower middle level, all should be responsible for the one authority which stands at the top of the organization. That is centralization process should be there in any organization in order to achieve the goals and aims. Sixth one, unity of direction. A single plan of action to guide the organization. Unity of direction. The same thing, board of directors meeting low. If you are having 10 people in a board of directors meeting, all 10 people should obey for one direction, means for one commanding or one process. If the direction is good, automatically a one plan exists, thereby they will guide towards the benefit of the organization. Means unity of direction should be in a proper way, thereby all the people will 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 get responsible to the unity of direction. Seventh one, equity. The provision of justice and the fair and impartial treatment of all employees. The provision of justice and the fair and impartial treatment of all employees. Equity means there should not be any partiality in any organization. Whenever whenever any work goes wrong, or whenever the work is accomplished without any knowledge. Means in a college the HOD should be optimistic. So she or he should not treat the employees in an impartial way. ఒకరిని ఎక్కువ ఒకరిని తక్కువ అనే కాన్సెప్ట్తో చూడకూడదు. జస్టిఫికేషన్ షుడ్ బి truthful for all the employees or for all the people, for all the faculty, those who are working in the organization. Means equity should be there. Then only if the justification is coming in a truthful manner, automatically the employees will think organization is going in a proper way without any problems. Next order. Eighth one is the order. The arrangement of employees where there will be the most value to the organization and to provide career opportunities. The arrangement of employees. So whenever there is a growth in the company in their career opportunities, there should be some proper order. For example, if a worker is working for 2 years, then you want to go for the next level. Means worker to senior worker or senior worker to foreman, there should be some proper orders or proper arrangement based upon their job rating and the merit rating and their experience. So the order should be in a straight fashion, straight line, should not misguide with the influence of the other people. Ninth one, initiative. What is the meaning of initiative? Taking, coming forward, the fostering of creativity and innovation by encouraging the employees to act on their own. Means think globally, act locally. అంటే అర్థం ఏంటి? సో వెన్ ఎవర్ ద వర్క్ ఈస్ గివెన్ టు యూ టు డూ సమ్ task, that is 1 to 10 steps. So while doing the work you have to complete the 10 steps accordingly. But how you are doing, how stylely you are doing. For example, see the Rajinikanth. So he is having a style in making a movies. Not only Rajinikanth, any celebrities, any actors. For example, uh, there is a proverb: don't act don't act accordingly, act according to the situation. Means ఏంటంటే whenever you are doing the work, there should have some creativity and innovation while doing the work. అంటే నువ్వు వర్క్ని స్టైల్గా చేయకూడదు, నీ వర్క్లోనే స్టైల్ ఉండాలి. దట్ ఈస్ ద సింపుల్ థింగ్. హౌ యూ విల్ గెట్? ఇనిషియేటింగ్, coming forward, getting the opportunities, thinking in a different way. This gives the initiation, right? Next, discipline. 10th one is a discipline. Obedient, respectful employees are necessary for the organization to function in a good manner. అంతే కదా? When there is a discipline in anything, automatically the output result is good. Means obedient workers, honest workers, respectful employees should require for any organization to run in a well manner. 11th one, remuneration of personnel. Remuneration of personnel. An equitable uniform payment system that motivates, contributes to the organization success. మీన్స్ ఒక క్యాడర్, ఒక జాబ్ స్పెషలైజేషన్కి అసిస్టెంట్ ప్రొఫెసర్ సో అండ్ సో శాలరీ, అసోసియేట్ ప్రొఫెసర్ సో అండ్ సో శాలరీ, ఫోర్మెన్ సో అండ్ సో శాలరీ, worker so and so salary, manager so and so salary. If there is a scale system, automatically there will be the equitable uniform payment in any organization. Thereby automatically the organization will go in a proper way. Next point, stability of tenure of personnel. Stability undal, స్థిరత్వం, tenure of personnel. For example, whenever a worker is, whenever a employee or worker is joining in a company, while joining he kept a sign that he will work for 10 years and there is a tenure of 10 years for that work. If the company is in a loss or if a company is going in another way and want to change the position or want to terminate the employee, so there should show some justification, stability, long term employment. If the employee is working in a company, he will see for a long term goals, not for a short term goals. So long term employment is very important for the development of skills that improves the organization performance. అంటే ఒక కంపెనీ పెట్టినప్పుడు 10 మంది వర్కర్స్ని ఇఫ్ యు ఆర్ ఎంగేజింగ్, the workers should think there should be some satisfaction, there should be some long run to settle in the job. And also employer also should think in a long term goals, not for a short term goals. That is the meaning of stability of tenure of personnel. Next, subordination of individual interest. Subordination of individual interest to the common interest. The interest of the organization takes precedence over the individual employee. means the subordination of individual interest to the common interest. Means whenever the organization takes having some incentives or having some interest upon the changing growth of the employees, automatically it should match the precedence over the individual employee. The interest should be taken place. So whatever the interest is there, employees interest, it should enhance the environment of the organization. Last one, esprit de corps. Esprit de corps means comradeship, helpfulness. So I think you have seen the movie Comrade. What's the meaning of comrade? What's the meaning of comrade? The person has to encourage the other person's concept or context and helps towards his or her success. అంతే కదా, comradeship and shared enthusiasm foster devotion to the common cause. What is the common cause of an organization? To get the proper benefits, to get the good results. The profit should be more, output should be more. So like this, in an organization there should have some friendly nature of going without any disturbances, without any problems. That is a esprit de corps. So these are the 14 principles set by Henry Fayol in the principles of management. So we'll discuss other topics in the behavioral theory in the next class. Okay, thank you.